Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. This is Sports Center.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. Another big three-team NBA trade. ESPN's Shams Charania reports the Spurs will get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. And the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and a first-round pick. ESPN's Brian Windhurst reports the trade talks between the Heat and the Warriors regarding Jimmy Butler are over for now. Butler says he won't sign a contract extension with Golden State. The Grizzlies beat the Bucks 132-119, their 7th straight win over Milwaukee, even without Ja Morant, who has a sore right shoulder. Jaren Jackson put up 37 for Memphis. The Rangers beat the Golden Knights 4-3. Jonathan Quick, the first U.S.-born goaltender to win 400 games.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
Your home of March Madness. 97.7 The Zone. Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Ken Cool alongside Joe Hunk, and we are actually in studio, even though we all said that
we probably wouldn't be in studio on Monday. It just, worked out this way. So now,
we decided to hang out this morning.
We're getting to chill out. I actually get to sit in the main studio room. We got Steve Moulton over on the board, which we very much appreciate that. And then tomorrow you can also look forward to us on location over at Good Company. So that should be a lot of fun. But it's good to be back after a nice long weekend full of crazy basketball games, as well as Luka Doncic getting traded, which I guess was a pretty big deal. But
oh no, it's a massive deal.
Have we really been focusing in the NBA?
No, nobody was up until about 10:30 last night, and then everybody kept going. Wait a second, is this a legit? Like, let me check my. Nope. Yes, there are. This person has 10 million followers. Okay, this one is a legit. Because when you see something like this, this is one of those trades that you and we would do on NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, of course I'll make this trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't do this. This is the equivalent of like Aaron Judge and Mike Trout getting traded for each other.
Oh, I can see that actually happening in the future. I mean, it's the way that it could be. But yeah. I will say this. I saw a few videos about it before I actually saw the report. And I was thinking, no, this can't happen, right? I mean, this is a guy that just took, this Dallas Mavericks team to the NBA Finals last season. I mean, this is a monumental trade. And no, that's exactly what it was. But we will hold off on that conversation until later down the road. Of course, we do have a lot of college basketball to talk about. On top of that, the Senior Bowl has been played. It is done. We can look at Jalen Milroe and think, where is this guy going to get drafted? Because I look at this Senior Bowl and I just see more of what we didn't like about this quarterback, and it very much upsets me. But hey, there is some good news. Ryan Grubb is actually making a return to Alabama, and this is going to be huge because if you guys didn't know, Mr. Grubb, Coach Grubb,
Mr. Grubb,
offensive coordinator Grubb, he separated with Kalen DeBoer, and whenever these guys separated, both of them saw a little bit of a decline. Offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, he went to the NFL with the Seahawks. I don't blame him for doing this in the first place. You're getting a lot of money. Of course, you're getting that NFL publicity, but at the same time, you're moving on from a guy in Kalen DeBoer who you found success with all throughout your career. Once they separated, you could see that both of them kind of were missing something, Joe.
Well, no, they missed each other, but it wasn't like Grubb didn't do well with the Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, overall, it was a good offense. But if you're looking at the running game, the passing game, all of that, it is sub 20th in the league. So, I mean, at the same time,
you had Geno Smith.
You got Geno Smith, but Geno Smith isn't bad.
But he isn't great.
Well,
like he's middle of the road. Like he was a middle of the road quarterback, which is part of the reason why you go, you know what? It wasn't like this team was bad. They were 10-7. They lost the last two games. I think the biggest loss was the fact that they, you go back and you can look at the loss that they had to, I would say maybe the Giants one is going to be the one that you're always going to kick yourself about, because that's probably going to be the difference in them making the playoffs and not making. Like, if you look at all the teams that they lost to this year, every single one of those teams made sense. They lost to the Lions. They lost to the 49ers, the Bills, the Rams. I mean, you're talking about playoff teams, Packers, Vikings. Like, those are all teams that you go, okay, that's not one. The Giants one was the outlier. That was the biggest one. But also, when you look at the passing yards, which is what Alabama fans are going to be looking at in this, you go back to that Lions game and you have 300, almost 400 passing yards in that particular game.
Yeah.
The biggest part with this is that I know that the biggest complaint was about his ability to pass the football as well as run it with Geno and that. But at the same time, it's not like Geno is an amazing quarterback. Like, trust me. As we're sitting here,
pretty freaking good.
No,
though.
he's serviceable. Like he's
serviceable on a level that I would want him as my quarterback if I had struggles at quarterback. Thankfully, I have Deshaun Watson, so it's paradise.
He's the guy that honestly, in all reality, like Titans fans would have loved to have had him. It's like, all right, he's serviceable. He can make sure that the ship doesn't hit the iceberg, but he's also not going to be the one that's going to get us there in record time.
It's a Ryan Tannehill. That's exactly what it is. And you bring up and not in the same way that he's performing.
Also, I don't think I'm going to sit today.
But the same way that he is succeeding. And honestly, Joe, you make a good point.
I'm just not
love these chairs.
I feel like the chairs are awesome. It's just I feel like I'm a standard today.
Well, In the studio, we got these stools. They're not the most.
And so, but no, that's and look, and with Geno, and you go and you see what his passing yards were this year. Yes, he played in every single game. He started all 17.
It was the most passing yards he's ever had.
4,300 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. But the other part is that when you have two wide receivers, especially like with Metcalf and Smith and Jigba, okay, you should be able to do a little bit more with the offense. But I also look at this as he had a serviceable quarterback that even I promise you, if Seattle had the opportunity, they would go, yeah, you know what? There's probably a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
It's like having the girlfriend that's a 6 and you're like, you know, I probably would. I'm not going to get rid of the 6 just yet, but if there's a 7 or 8 that comes along, I will dump the 6 in a heartbeat.
Well, then it could end up having a little bit of a negative ramifications because you could get rid of a guy like Geno. And you could think that you're going to find somebody better in the draft, possibly. But I mean, I don't think that's going to happen this year. But you look at what could possibly happen, and it could be a decline. It could be the same thing we've seen from other teams around the league that had a serviceable quarterback that was able to get them to the playoffs, and then it just totally didn't happen. And that's one thing that I don't think the Seahawks need to worry about, except for, of course, a contract is kind of coming to an end, and they're going to need to make a choice sooner than later. But that's not what we're talking about. Ryan Grubb back at the OC position for Alabama. I think this is something that a lot of Alabama fans thought would happen after this season.
Well, they hoped that it would happen.
They would hope that it would happen. And then whenever they saw him, of course, lose the job in Seattle, they thought, well, this would be a perfect fit. Just bring him back. But a lot of people were thinking, oh, you know, Alabama, they're not really ones to bring on some people who already passed up the job. And well, this is
he didn't pass it up. He was there. He
was there, and he took a different job.
Look, his last day in Alabama in Tuscaloosa, he may have knew the right direction to get to the office. Like he would have went like, all right, when I get this red light, I think, no, I take it right. Yeah, I take it right. We're good. Okay, no, like he was still learning the roads in Tuscaloosa when that man went to Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He was hardly ever out in the South.
Well, this is all connected to Michael Penix Jr. Like this whole thing is connected to him.
What?
Yeah, no, the whole idea of Ryan Grubb becoming the offensive coordinator was because Alabama and Alabama fans saw what Ryan Grubb was able to do with Michael Penix Jr. at Washington in the 2 seasons that he was the offensive coordinator. Now, the question is going to be, okay, was that a Michael Penix Jr. thing or was that a Ryan Grubb thing? That's where the question is, because when he was the OC at Fresno State, who has put quarterbacks in the NFL, they didn't do that. Like his number one passer, I promise you, if I were to pull up the list of the number one passer that he had while he was the offensive coordinator from 2019 to 2021, I promise you it would not be a quarterback that you have ever heard from in your entire life.
I think it wasn't Jake Haener?
No, it was Jorge. Exactly.
Hey, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Jorge Reyna. Or whatever his name is.
I don't think he's playing in the NFL right
No, Jorge is not playing in the NFL. 2018 and 2019, he passed for 2,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Outside of that, and you would even possibly look at like a Jake Haener at the very end, and I don't even know if he was the offensive coordinator for him at the end.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was offensive coordinator for him for 2 years. Those are your two.
Well, Jake Haener is in the NFL.
But is he doing anything?
Oh, he had to play a few games, I would say, for the Saints, but he definitely isn't going to be the starting quarterback anytime soon.
And that's where I say is this was a Michael Penix Jr. thing. It's very similar to Jalen Milroe.
And I can totally understand that. Okay, but here's the difference: Fresno State, the talent that they bring in, compared to a Washington, compared to an Alabama. He's got talent to work with. This isn't a Fresno State, okay? This isn't a Sycamore State or whatever, we started out with.
Sycamore State.
This is
Sioux Falls, man.
Sioux Falls, there it is.
Sioux Falls.
This is a Crimson Tide. This is the team that's got the talent. And whether it's Austin Mack or any of the other, Dylan Sampson, any of the other quarterbacks that this team's got, I think that we're going to see a little bit of success. And I think that we can sleep at night knowing that Jalen Milroe is moving on to go and do better things.
No, and I fully honestly look, and I'm not saying these are connected, but I don't think Ryan Grubb comes to Alabama if Milroe comes back.
I can see why.
I don't, because I think that with Michael Penix Jr., and that's where a lot of people, and especially somebody like Ryan Grubb, and I'm not piecing things together that aren't there. Yeah. I'm just saying that it is very obvious when you're in a situation where you know that the team around you is going to be guys that you want to work with.
Yeah.
And it is very obvious whenever you get there. You can tell this so incredibly fast if this is going to be something that's going to work out or is not. And if you're sitting there thinking, I think I can. I personally think that if Milroe was still the starting quarterback at Alabama and he was staying in Tuscaloosa, Ryan Grubb's not coming back.
256-576. 97.7 is the number to hop in with us to talk about either the football, the basketball. If you want to get into a little bit of NASCAR, we got to see Bowman Gray Coliseum.
No.
What a wonderful race that was. But I'm beside the point. You guys are able to hop on with us, talk whatever you need to, and it's all presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs if you're having any roofing problems. Make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up.
Doorbell.
Was that
Doorbell?
Is that the doorbell, or is that the sound to the last show, the show that's on in the morning?
I don't know. I just heard the ding, and I was either like, one of us got the correct answer, or somebody's ringing the doorbell.
We all want to win some football games, don't we?
There it is. Look at this. That's what happens when we got a guy like Steve on the board.
Steve is hanging out with us today. Steve and I have spent a lot of time together over the course of the last 3 days.
Well, we've spent a lot of time together the last 3 months.
We absolutely have. And Steve and I, we were at 2 Havoc games over the weekend.
Yeah.
Both of them wins. Steve and I also Saturday, along with Scott, had a very long day, because Steve and Scott were on the call for the men's and women's basketball games against Trevecca Saturday afternoon. Right when those wrapped up, Steve and I went over and we did the Huntsville Havoc game against Quad City, where it was jersey off your back night. The Quad City players didn't realize this until they got into the fight. But it was something that both of those games went to Havoc wins. Look, man, that is the very first game, and Steve may correct me on this if I'm wrong. This is the first game that we have done where it has been that big of a blowout, where Steve and I basically we're just BSing all the way through the third period.
What do you do at that point?
It was 8-1 on Saturday. It was an absolutely obliteration.
Here's the thing. I want to know for you, because obviously you're a fan as well as, of course, a commentator on this team. Do you love watching these blowouts, or would you rather have a competitive matchup all the way to the end?
I think the fun part of it is that you see guys that you are around a lot and that have struggled or hasn't, gotten a puck in the back of the net, or like Philly, and I'm still the only one that calls him that, but like Philly, who hasn't been on the ice for 2.5 months, and then he gets his first goal in almost 3 months when he was there Friday night. Then you get a guy like Noah, who hadn't scored since Christmas, literally.
Finstrom.
Yeah, like Finstrom. Like I'm not joking. Like he literally, the last goal that he had scored before Saturday night was on the day after Christmas. Like it had been that long, and he puts one in the back of the net. Buster puts 2. We had 2 players with a Gordie Howe, one of which is legit because Benito Posa had the Gordie Howe because he actually got in the fight and won. Connor Fries has the Gordie Howe and had it, but at the same time, his was a little bit dumber because he actually was just laying on the ice getting just pummeled by a stick because he had gotten knocked down in front of the crease, and he got put into the box for fighting. So he got one, but it was more like wait, what?
No.
Like, did he just get, and I think I even asked Steve that on the broadcast. I was like, did Fries just get put in the penalty box for getting knocked down and just pummeled on the ice? Like, how is that fair? So there was those, you had, multiple guys with 2 goals. Jack Yannick had 2, Buster Larson had 2. Those games it was fun. It was fun to see one where we're not freaking out. Yeah. And the reason is because Friday was a much more intense hockey game. You had players going at it. You had coaches going at it. You had, Coach Stefan, which I've never seen him like that. Steven said he had never really seen him like that. Literally had to pull one of his players back, on the bench, and he got over on the bench itself screaming at the head coach for Quad City. Like it was one of those. So those games were fun on that, but here's the other part. Baseball's also starting.
Oh yeah.
Baseball started.
Does it start tomorrow?
No, it starts at home tomorrow. UAH 2:00. It's at home, but they were both UAH teams were on the road this weekend, and the men's team went 1-2, Baseball went 1-2. And softball had a very good weekend as well on theirs. But they're back at home this week. So
That's
I get my first UAH baseball game tomorrow afternoon. I'm extremely excited about this.
I know you're looking forward to that, and I know a lot of the listeners around the Huntsville area are looking forward to it as well. And you'll be able to listen to it on our network. Just find us over on social medias, 97.7 ESPN on X, and of course ESPN The Zone over on Facebook, and you'll be up to date with all the things Zone related.
I'm addicted to this standing thing.
By the way, 12-2 was the overall score combined for the Huntsville Havoc against the Quad City Storm in the 2 games they played this weekend. We'll take
cleared
a
away
break off
immediately,
of that.
so it's on to a 5-on-4. Good old-fashioned
After
power
this.
play here for Quad City through the near circle. A nice job by McKay to muscle the puck away, but curl along the far half wall. Storm maintain the possession. Down by 4 goals here in Huntsville. That's poke free. Here's Robbie Fisher ahead with it. He's getting held. And a shot on. Rolls it in. Those Tanner fries from Robbie Fisher.
Wonderful call. No.
Why don't you talk about it more often? Good Lord. That's on you. You must 2018, you're probably talking about every game.
So in that play, when they were talking about, that's Coach Titilio, who just happens to be the husband of Jen Titilio, who sponsors the Havoc Hour.
Yeah,
that's how I that's how I address him now.
Gotcha.
Not the guy that's got a name in the rafters and all that. No, he's the husband of Jen Titilio of the Havoc Hour. It wasn't just that Fisher was being held. Okay, have you ever seen those like 1930s cartoons where they're on stage and they bring out the hook to pull? It was that. Because it was happening right in front of the Havoc bench. Yes, it happened right in front of the Havoc bench. And so the defender is behind Fisher. And I'm not joking. He's using his stick and he's literally like trying to like pull him back.
Yeah, you can't do that.
As it's happening. And so, no, that happened. And I also didn't even bring this up as well as what was going on. No, I'll hold that when we come back.
Okay. Well,
I'll hold that when we come back. Something happened in that game that I need to address and I need to talk about.
We do need to hop into a break, but you guys can still hop into the show. 256-576-97.7 is the number.
Standing. I like the standing.
To get in, it gives you the power, Joe Hunk. But on top of that, you wanted to continue with something else in the next segment.
Yes. No, absolutely. Look,
yes. Like Japanese baseball, and I've gotten a little bit annoyed at times. But I've got a new hobby that I like that I'm going to annoy the crap out of you with. So I'll tell you that when we get back here on the Blitz, here on 97.7, ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Eagles are headed to New Orleans. Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a third consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You can now do more without it costing you more. Alabama's attractions have come together to offer the all-in-one ticket that downloads to your mobile device. No matter how many attractions listed on the ticket you see during the time span you bought, your price stays the same. Pick the right ticket option that best fits your schedule, and then enjoy more attractions without spending more. All-in-one tickets for different areas of Alabama are available at alabama.travel and other places where online tickets are sold. Brought to you by Alabama Tourism Department, the ABA, and this station.
Hey, brother. Saw you call.
John,
I've been thinking about our days during the war, and I'm on my way. Thanks, man.
If you are a veteran struggling with depression, anxiety, or need someone to talk to, call 800-273-8255. Press 1. It's private and free 24/7. Call 800-273-8255 or visit vetsforhope.com. Sponsored by the Partners of Alabama's Challenge and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect plenty of sunshine for this Monday. Temperatures continue to warm up heading into the next couple of days, and it looks like for this Monday, we'll be sitting in the low 70s by the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 50s for the overnight. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Does anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Gotta love it.
This is music for my ears, man.
On a Monday, the Blitz boys.
No, and
Steve.
This song, I don't even like the song because I've heard it so much. I mean, I loved it when I was a little kid, and getting to see him perform it live was really, really cool because John Fogerty will bring out a guitar that is a baseball bat. It is awesome.
It just reminds me of The Sandlot.
It does. It absolutely does. But it gets me fired up now because it is baseball season now. See, you guys wonder the reason why I struggle with basketball sometimes. It's because baseball in college starts at the very end of January, beginning of February.
I understand it. I totally get it. It's how I feel about NASCAR. That's why baseball goes right under the radar.
So
and NASCAR is the thing that I focus on.
So as we're doing the UAH Trevecca game, because I had a lacrosse game Saturday, first time ever doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I had that game. Then I looked at all the UAH guys. I was like, hey, our game ended early because it was a blowout. And our game ended early. I was like, is there anything you guys need? They said, yeah, I think they need help with the basketball game. So I go over to Spraggins. Basketball game's going on. But as it's going on, UAH men the baseball team is playing down in St. Augustine.
Ooh.
So I'm like, I've got it up on my iPad, and I'm watching that and watching the basketball game, doing everything that I'm needing to do. And then we get to the hockey game Saturday night. And so Steve and I are like, man, this is our third. This is my fourth game. This was his third game of the day. And then I'm on the ice. We're not 6 minutes into this hockey game. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game, and I'm paying attention, and I'm trying to be like, okay, what is something that I can hit on? Is it power play opportunities? Is it the effectiveness of the offense that is going? I was like, I'm sitting here thinking, and then next thing you know, I hear pop. And now on the camera, you will see me go, oh my God.
Oh, is it a puck coming your way?
Puck almost hit me in the face
because you were too busy thinking of other things.
No, it was. And I was paying attention. So what happened is Quad City and Huntsville were trying to go, and a Quad City player was at the Havoc center ice, right on top of Chaos's face. He goes to pass it to a Quad City guy. But what I want to say happened, because I was staring right at it, was a Huntsville player's stick got in the way, puck like a ramp shot up and went right at my face. I have said for many, many weeks and months that Mike Robinson is my favorite goalie. I have had to change that statement.
Oh.
Because even though Mike Robinson had over 70 saves this weekend, it was the one save that Coburn had on Saturday.
He should have caught it before it hit you.
He caught it because he has his gloves on, and he's sitting there, and he's ready to go. He's got his baseball hat on, and he's sitting there. And sure enough, puck comes off the stick, goes up. I spin and like jump out of off the bench and down, like ducking down. And then I turn around and I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's almost like you're in a crash. You're like, okay, my body's good. I have my arms like It's fine. No blood. Okay, we're good. All right, good.
Can't say I've ever been like that, but I understand where you're coming from.
I'm set now. I'm like, okay, all right, legs are fine. All right, nobody's laughing at me. Okay, we're good. I turn around and Coburn's like, yeah, here you go. And he just tosses the puck over. And I'm going, wait, did he catch that?
Gotta admit.
Everybody on the bench was actually genuinely worried about me because they saw my reaction. And so all the trainers like, did you get hit? Did it hit you? Did you hit you? Did it go? I was like, guys, I never heard a sound. I didn't hear a sound off the board. I didn't hear a sound off the glass. I didn't hear anything. I'm like, I still don't know where the puck is. And one of the trainers like, oh, it's right here. Coburn just tossed it to me.
So Coburn stopped time, caught the puck. You were just like, you need a helmet. You need to get a helmet. They have plenty of them.
I know they have plenty of them, but it was, I genuinely, I was able to see the puck. I saw every bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the logo on one side. Like I was able to see the puck, but I dove out of the way. It happened at about 15 minutes left in the first period. I thought I had died.
That's terrible.
I did. And and everybody's like, you all right? You good? You okay? You fine? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I think so. So where's the puck? Where's the puck? I knew it would happen eventually. I knew to always be aware. It's just that when it does happen, I didn't think it would be that particular moment.
You were shivering in your boots. Now,
I was definitely nervous for the remainder of the game.
Hockey is dangerous. Being on the side ice is, of course, very dangerous, especially when you don't have a helmet on and you're kind of just there, thinking about, it's baseball season. There was basketball earlier. You're thinking about all these different sports because you're having to do them all in the same day. You know what's even more dangerous than that? And it's the thing that I'm going to talk about nonsensically, nonstop, because of all of the Japanese baseball that you bring up. You even brought up that you got a new little sweatshirt.
It's the first time too that it wasn't what I wanted.
I don't want to hear about it.
I've got to figure out how to send this thing back to Japan now.
Yeah, well, that's going to take a while because it's on the other side of the world. Joe, have you ever heard of WRC?
WRC.
Yes.
Women's Wrecking Crew?
No, I would never.
Well,
actually, that actually sounds pretty nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds like a women's. It sounds like a defensive line for a women's hockey.
Sounds like an Arby's commercial back in the early 2000s.
We have the beef.
Yeah. No, it is World Rallycross.
What in heaven's name is that? Where the dune buggies go over the sand?
It's that's a part of it. There's a bunch of different areas.
For real?
There's a bunch of different parts.
I just thought you had mentioned something from the Pro Bowl. Like that's what I thought. It's like, man,
no, hell no. The Pro Bowl was lame.
The punter competition.
So they made the fullback punt the ball.
The punter competition.
What are we even doing?
Legit.
You're making these pro athletes look like they're just normal people. That's the total opposite of what you want out of your Pro Bowl games. Regardless, no, it's not the Pro Bowl. WRC. All right. We get to see. You remember Ken Block, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Ken Block.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I know six
mainstay.
of those. Yeah, absolutely.
Mainstay in rally racing, and mainly on the tarmac. The Monster Energy drink craze that happened. The number 43 on the side of Hoonigan Mustang, or
I am not a
Ford Fiesta.
I am not a NASCAR fan. But if there was ever a car that I would say is probably one of my favorite cars in history, NASCAR wise, it is the Monster Energy drink car.
There you go.
It just looks legit.
There you go. Now
it looks legit.
On top of that, there's a guy named Colin McRae. Now, both of these guys that I'm bringing up, sadly, have already passed away. But they kind of solidified.
So wait, the best guys in their sport are already dead?
I'm just now hearing about them? There's so many of them.
God,
because
this isn't NASCAR.
The way that rally works, okay, is that is funny though. Not the death, but the fact that Joe is like, this is why. This is like NASCAR.
This is NASCAR.
But Colin McRae was the other guy that really solidified himself, and his whole thing was pedal to the metal. I know these are names you've never heard of before, but that's the same
I'm sitting here
Japanese.
Continuing to think that they're like football players.
No,
I keep like Colin McRae. Yeah, wasn't he like a linebacker for this? No,
he drove the Subaru Impreza. All right. It was this blue. It had the yellow on it and all of that good stuff. All right. The reason I got into rally back in the day,
blue and had the yellow on it.
It had a little yellow on it. The reason I got into rally, and Steve, if you know anything about rally, just let me know, because this was a very popular sport.
No. Even if you do
popular sport overseas in Europe. Okay. They also had the Monte Carlo event.
You do a little bit of research and figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, because he's talking rally. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, all right, we're talking about some volleyball.
what happens when he talks about Japanese baseball. How am I supposed to continue the conversation? Now I'm continuing
because I have funnier
right
jokes. Jokes about him are funnier.
I got into the whole rally craze back when I was, I think, 4 years old, up to like 7. And that was whenever I used to play a game called Rally Challenge 2000 on the N64. All right.
Okay, now I'm on board with
now we're going way back.
now I'm on board because mine was dirt bike racing.
There you go.
Mine was dirt bike.
MX versus MTV was a great game.
Yeah,
one of the best selling games back in 2004.
Yeah, I probably would be in a wheelchair right now if my parents actually let me get the dirt bike that I wanted. So,
that's funny.
I appreciate that.
Me and him are actually the same, but we both wanted dirt bikes at one point in our lives. But no, I'm very much into rallycross because this past weekend I got into the Dirt Rally 2.0 games as well as the WRC games by EA as well as by I think Techmaster or whatever the other company that used to make those games were. So now I have 3 different rally games on my Xbox that have just been nonstop playing, grinding through.
Here's what's weird about this, and I only say this because it is, check my phone, it's February 3rd.
Yeah.
We have a team in the state that is the #1 team in the country.
Yeah.
We have a team. Yes, see, correct answer. We have another team in the state that's the #4 team in the country.
About to be number 3.
About to be number 3. And as we have known and now know, it is Super Bowl weekend or Super Bowl week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It is Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
But it is now to the point where we're sitting here and we're thinking, rally race.
I was going to bring up the rally racing in the first segment. I was, but I had to push it back.
Well, no, and it's because, Ryan Grubb got hired, and that's kind of a big deal for Alabama fans because this is the guy, this is the person that they have been sitting and thinking about. Exactly. Like every Alabama fan has been sitting and going, all right, our offense would have been all right if we had just had Grubb.
We're solidified. We're going to the national championship, baby.
That's it. Like this is the deal. All right, we got him back now. This is the guy that we wanted originally. We're going to be good. Also, I think it was a smart idea as well. And I don't think this is talked about enough as well with this is the fact that the man that he is quote unquote replacing in Nick Sheridan is still on the staff.
Awkward.
No, it is awkward. It is awkward.
A little bit awkward.
It is very awkward because it's like, oh, hey, that job you did last year, I think you did great. You really did. The play calling that you had in some of these games, so good.
Now, Oklahoma was a little bad. It was, but it wasn't all your fault. We had a terrible minded quarterback.
But we think that we have a better option. We just think we do. Now, we want you to stay on staff. So what does that tell you that they're wanting Nick Sheridan to be on staff?
Be assistant.
I know that. I know that's what they're telling him is he wants him to be assistant.
That he's not as good as Ryan Grubb.
That's also something they're telling him. And trust me, Bama fans agree with you on that. You know what I think is another reason why they're not wanting him to leave? What happens when coaches leave? What opens up? The transfer portal.
Oh, it's any coach that leaves.
Any coach that leaves.
Oh my gosh.
Any coach that leaves.
I didn't know that.
Transfer portal opens. And he was part of getting Russell into that 5-star quarterback who committed to him being on there. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but by keeping him on staff, because we were questioning, it's like, wait a second, there's not even an opening on here. But they keep him on staff, which means somebody else gets booted, somebody else gets booted. The transfer portal does not open up. So now they get to hold on to the players that they possibly would potentially leave because of that situation. So it was a chess and checkers type move on this.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So that's a big deal that they are going to keep him on so that somebody like Russell that's going, wait a second, I came in here to be. He was my OC. Now you're my OC. Not saying that he wouldn't like Grubb. I'm just saying it's a reason that he could go back onto the market and teams could be like, hold up, we still have some money left.
Yeah.
Hold up, we can pay you.
Even if Sheridan ended up leaving, I don't know if Keelan Russell would leave because we're talking about a coordinator that was just in the NFL. And this talk about a guy that's going to help you be ready for the NFL, a guy that was just in the NFL. I will say this, though. For Alabama, they're not making any coaching changes. But as expected, Joe, did you see the news about, of course, Chip Kelly moving on to the NFL?
Yes.
Getting himself a solid offensive coordinator job out west.
He's got I want to hold off on the word solid.
I mean, the coaching staff looks pretty decent right now. The team, though, it's a little bit shaky.
Well, the first thing is Chip Kelly. I applaud him for figuring out who he is and what he is, and understanding that he just wants to be an offensive coordinator.
No, he's also a national championship winning offensive coordinator.
Absolutely, he is. No, but at the same time, he has said, you know what? I'm good at calling plays. I want to call plays. I enjoy calling plays.
He's the guy that plays only offense on NCAA.
Oh, absolutely. He's like, do you want to jump ahead? Just give me offensive series. That's all I want to do, which is probably like 75% of the people that play that game. That's all they want to do. But not judging, just
defense
acknowledge.
is hard. Defense is hard.
No, defense is hard. It really annoys the crap out of me. So yes, he's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders, who also have a very high draft pick that could potentially turn into somebody like a Shedeur Sanders, like a Cam Ward, or they could even trade out of that pick and bring in another quarterback. And this is Chip Kelly getting back into the NFL after everything that happened with the Philadelphia Eagles and how he wanted to make it like a college program. And he was cutting players left and right and people that didn't buy into the system and all those things that came with it. He was like, you know what? This is how I'm going to run my team. And it didn't really work out for him. So now he's getting to go into this as an offensive coordinator. And look, I will tell you that to me, this is another opportunity for him, as well as a lot of other big name coaches, that they're doing exactly what we've talked about with this NIL in college football. Is like Chip Kelly. How long was he the offensive coordinator for Ohio State? Like, I mean, it was
1 year.
Was it just a season?
It was just that season because he was the head coach for UCLA for the last like 6 years.
Yes. And it was
nothing really happened.
Well, no, it's because it's UCLA and they don't want to put money into anything sports wise because they think sports is the devil. I don't know why, but they just do.
Football is the devil.
That's exactly what they think about.
Foosball is the devil's
They do not.
Two SEC teams and got an opportunity to beat them.
Yeah. Hey guys, he was as a head coach at UCLA, he was having to go out into the quads. Like, I got some tickets for you, some free tickets. You guys, tickets? You want to be game Saturday, 11 a.m. Tickets. Anybody want to come to the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, the Rose Bowl. That's where we play.
Yeah.
I'll give you tickets to the Rose Bowl. It's just another game.
Yeah. Tickets. Oh, anybody? Hey guys. Hey, you want these tickets? Well, these tickets, big game, Utah, big game, Utah. Come on. That's what he was doing, man. Nobody cared about football at UCLA. None of those students cared.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly because I've been on this campus and literally they forget that they have these things. They have a great baseball program, a great basketball program. They have one of the most legendary basketball arenas in college basketball, period. No, not women.
People are going to be busy there.
Yes, they are going to be busy. So yes, UCLA, and then getting into what he was doing. He goes to Ohio State. And then again, he spent time in this NIL era where UCLA people did not want to invest in that because they literally just want to protest everything. Trust me. Yeah. And so he's like, all right, I'm gonna go to Ohio State. It's still, you're going, you know what? I had this $21 million roster and everybody talked about it. I still didn't get to sleep at night. I didn't get to do anything at night. I kept sitting here thinking, and we'll put my phone on sleep. I can't do that. No, not going to do that.
Got to stay ready.
So why not go to the pros? Why not go somewhere where you can at least take a breath every once in a while? And I think more coaches are going to do this until everything kind of gets ironed out with the way that college football is. You're going to have your DeBoers and your Ryan Grubbs and those guys that are going to, hey, you know what? We're going to stay in this. We're going to continue to do this and try to figure this system out. And then there's other coaches that are going to say, I don't care anything about dealing with this crap. When you get us a salary cap, when you get us an NIL cap, when you figure all this stuff out, then I'll think about coming back.
When you're pushing 60 years old as well, that's a different story. You don't want to have to deal with all of that. And being the offensive coordinator, a lot less stressful than being a head coach for an NFL team, let alone a head coach for a college team that's got to pretty much deal in 7 different jobs.
Look, in Will Howard and what he did with him at Ohio State, Will Howard's not even I don't even think he's like the 8th or 9th quarterback right now on the CBS quarterback list for NFL prospects. Like, you have a guy.
That'd be criminal if he wasn't, I will say, because this kid has a freaking arm. I mean, he is talent, but at the same time, he needed that right team, that right push, as well as $20 million worth of talent around him as well to get where he was. But I mean, that arm looked like $4 million alone.
Let's see. Okay, so here's the list right now for the quarterbacks entering the draft. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers, Will Howard. He's number 7.
Okay.
He's number 7, and right now he is being considered a 4th round draft pick, maybe later.
Is Jalen? Wait, you said Jalen Milroe is like 4, right?
No, he's 3.
That's terrible.
He's 3 because this is golly. No, it is terrible.
I appreciate everything that Jalen Milroe did for the University of Alabama, getting this team to the playoffs, getting to face off. The second year a little less. Okay, his first year when he came in, helped out whenever Bryce Young was injured. That's fine as well. His first starting year, I can't complain about it. But his last season left a terrible taste in, I think, a lot of people's mouths. And I think that looking at him as a 3rd best quarterback in the entire draft, ahead of Kyle McCord, ahead of Will Howard, ahead of Jackson Dart, who actually scored a touchdown in the Senior Bowl, that's something that I just do not understand. I don't know what people are seeing with his throwing ability. I can see why he's athletic.
John,
but outside of that,
I need to ask you a question.
He's popping in.
What's the question?
He's popping in.
Do you want Jalen? Or gosh, do you?
Hell no.
Do you want him as a Brown?
Hold on.
Do you want him as a Brown?
No.
There's your answer.
I don't.
No.
I would rather have Jackson Dart. And to see that Jackson Dart is 4 compared to Jalen Milroe at 3.
So here's a question.
Will Howard. I would choose Will Howard.
No, and Will Howard is under Quinn Ewers, under Jackson Dart, which Jackson Dart did help his case.
Kyle McCord out of all of them, I will admit.
Well, and Kyle McCord is there. But let me ask you, did Jalen Milroe have a better 2024 or 2023?
I would say he had a better 2023.
Now, touchdown to interception ratio, you're right. Because 2023, he had 23 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions.
And that's right there. That is what I want to see out of a quarterback.
Well,
I don't want to see him try and do amazing stats, but also throw a bunch of interceptions and cause a lot of losses.
Well, and in 2024, it was 16 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions. But passing yards wise, it was actually better in 2024. Would you like to guess by how many yards?
I'm going to say by 500.
Try 1 first down.
Oh,
he passed for 2,834 yards in 2023. He passed for 2,844 yards in 2024.
No, I don't want him as Brown. I don't want him.
And see that this is all of these rankings for a lot of these guys is all based on the potential ability. That's all it's about. Okay?
He's got plenty of potential, but potential could also be the worst thing you hear at his point in his career.
Trust me, the potential is what these coaches are looking at right now. He's like, when he does make a good pass and he has a good pocket and he does a good this, he looks really good. And I'm acting like I'm sitting here watching a video board right now when I'm watching this. And I'm like, oh, look at what he does in the pocket when he is able to find the man deep. Like, oh, look at all those passes to Ryan Williams. Did you know that when he was passing that to him, he was only 17? And so it was all those things that pop up in this. He's like, Jalen Milroe was able to have great chemistry with a 17-year-old, which is literally a lot of people in college that you just can't do it. And so it's one of these weird things that you're looking at him and you're thinking this, but at the same time, then you talk to him. Then you get him on a whiteboard. Then you start to do some questions. Look, the thing about Milroe, even down in Mobile, was, he struggled his first 2 days, but I think his 3rd day was a little bit better. The game doesn't matter crap. Nobody cares about the game. The game is more of like a showcase that everybody has fun with, and that's the one that's on national TV. It's the practices that matter. And Milroe hurt himself with how bad he did in the first 2 days practice-wise. That is what you were getting with Jalen Milroe.
Well, it's good that the game doesn't matter because he didn't do too well in that either. Either way, we'll take it to break. After that, 256
interception.
576.
See how open he was?
497.7 is the number 2 hop on with us here on the Morning Blitz. 97.7 ESPN, the Zone.
And ESPN, which
yep.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Tate Elliott wins the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. The Daytona 500 is coming up a week from Sunday with Kyle Busch, the favorite, at 11-1. Ryan Blaney, 12-1. Brad Keselowski, 13-1. Joey Logano and Danny Hamlin both at 14-1. College basketball today, UAB a 1-point favorite against North Texas at Bartow Arena, 137.5 the total. Auburn and Oklahoma meet at Neville Arena tomorrow. Super Bowl 59 this week, Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Chiefs a 1.5 favorite over the Eagles, the total 48.5. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect mostly clear skies for this Monday night. Low temperatures are expected to fall into the low 50s for the overnight. Heading into Tuesday, expect partly sunshine. High temperatures topping out in the lower 70s for the afternoon, and it looks like rain will return back to the forecast early Wednesday morning. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
Into the free throw line. Chaney sends it out. Max Schulman for three. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This ain't Texas.
I hate you.
This isn't Texas.
No.
This is Huntsville, Alabama.
And I know why I played this too.
Why?
Because she wanted
Oh, you know what? Sabrina Carpenter had one hell of a show.
I seriously had no clue I still don't know who she is. I know who she is because I've seen the videos and pictures of her, and the fact that she could sell out a stadium, I've never heard a single song.
I had no idea that the Grammys was going on. Why do I feel like it's like the fifth time this year that the Grammys is going on?
No,
also, Kanye, what are you doing? Come on.
No, I think that with this song in particular, this isn't a bad song if it was performed by somebody that didn't have the Grammys that she had.
Oh, I bet you
this sounds like an introductory song to Nashville.
Yeah, I bet you wish it was done by a dude.
It's a good song. It's just that when you hear it's Beyonce, you think that it should be
Beyonce?
Better. Yes. Yeah, the song's not bad. But it sounds like an introductory song that a girl off Broadway got a hit off of, and this was her first ever single.
Look, it being Beyonce trying country, probably not the way to go.
Well, trust me, she has a Grammy now. So, yeah, for the album of the year.
I haven't even heard Beyonce. Okay, you know what? Regardless, we can talk more about that.
I mean, if she has that, I can't wait for my NBA MVP award.
Look, if we're talking about performances, I think there are a few awards that we should.
Based on this, Jalen Milroe is going to be a Super Bowl MVP.
We can't keep doing
going by these standards. I mean, if we're going by standards on this, Jalen Milroe, heck, he may be a Super Bowl MVP this weekend before he even gets into the NFL.
I think if we all just stop talking about Jalen Milroe, we can look forward to next season in the NFL, and we can see him as a third-string quarterback for some random team.
No, I think the part for me is that I hate when a bad decision is made when it is such an obvious bad decision.
I agree
because you're stuck in your ways, and I think that and stuck in your quote unquote plan. Like I hate that. I hate that he made a decision to come out because this was something in if this was something that he's like, this is what I was going to do. This was always going to be the plan. I was always going to do this. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm looking at this now because let's be honest, NIL money right now, there are kids that are deciding, you know what, I'm not going to go to the NFL draft because I'm actually making more money in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carson Beck.
Okay. So the reason I say that is as I'm talking to you right now, I want you to can you get me the salaries for NFL draft picks, like the contract numbers for what those are as we're going, because when you play college football now, especially when you're at your Alabamas, your Texas, your Oklahomas, your Ohio States, your Michigans, you have the ability now to get paid a high number where that decision that you're making about going pro or staying in college isn't as difficult when it's like, oh crap, I need to be able to pay for my mama so she's not sitting here and living in this project that she's been living in this unsafe place where we have to worry about every night when we go to sleep that there's a bullet going to fly through the window. That's different than what it was 20 years ago, because we know there's a lot of kids that made that decision because they wanted to make sure they helped their parents get out of the situation they're in. And I understand that. In 2025, that's not the case when you're a starting quarterback for one of the best and biggest colleges in college football. Like that's just not the case. So do you have the numbers up right now?
I got the numbers.
Okay. So for a first round draft pick right now, what is the salary that you found?
So first round draft pick goes from 12.1 to 38.5 million.
Okay. So 12 being most likely your guy that's getting drafted by either the Eagles or the Chiefs and pick 31 or 32. Okay. Second round
ranges from 6.3 to 9.9.
Okay, 6.3 to 9.9.
Which isn't
okay.
bad.
No, not bad.
Across 4 years again.
Right.
So people know that.
Third round.
5.5 to 6.
5.5 to 6.
It's a small little tunnel, but you know what? It's still enough money to, last for at least 4 years, unless you try and, throw all your money at the wall and get a Lamborghini, which you're not supposed to do when you're in the NFL.
No. There's going to be classes about that. The rookie symposium. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, some don't listen to it.
Fourth round. So now we're talking about players that are drafted on the first round of the very last day of the draft. The ones where it's like the NFL Network isn't even showcasing the names being called anymore. No. They're just talking.
4.5 to 4.8.
All right. Do you think that Milroe could get paid $4 million to be a quarterback somewhere?
Well, here's the thing. I think I said it. Isn't that across the span of 4 years, right? So that's something where I'm thinking.
I think that's actually, is that span of 4 years?
I believe that's how.
So then you're getting $1 million a year.
Because that's a contract we've seen some quarterbacks have to make, of course, while they're all Brock Purdy, for instance.
The amount of money I'm going to be making would hurt your parents' feelings.
Still on a rookie contract.
So,
but for a guy like Jalen Milroe, I don't even know how much I would pay him if I wanted him to come to my school. I'd pay him to leave, honestly. If there was that, if I'm Alabama, I'd be happy that he's on his way to the NFL. But if I were to pay this kid, I think he could make $2 million a year. I mean, that would be the most I could see anybody paying him in college football, and it'd have to be a team like Northwestern.
Well, no, and here's the reason why I asked it, because you have it right between $5.5 and $6 million in a rookie deal for a third round pick. So that means 4-year deal, $6 million, which is roughly 1.2.
Yeah.
I have 4 mock drafts that I've pulled up in the last 5 minutes.
Oh boy.
He is not on a single first round or second round draft mock.
Yeah, Senior Bowl can also hurt you. Can also hurt you, Jalen.
So you're telling me that you just came out and you declared for the NFL draft, and now you're going to be most likely making less money in the NFL than what you would have been in college if you would have went to another school.
Believe it or not, Joe, this isn't the first time this has ever happened, but I'm looking forward to seeing some of those mock drafts, whether or not Jalen Milroe is getting paid the big bucks, as well as, of course, talking with Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 about some Alabama basketball and their winning ways. That's what we're getting into when we get back here on The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by CB&S Bank. Bank anywhere, at any time with CB&S Bank's digital solutions. Managing your finances has never been so easy. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from Alabama head coach Nate Oates following Alabama's Saturday win against Georgia.
Unbelievable effort from our guys. Really the effort we've been looking for outside of the start to the second half. You take that 4 minutes out, which I wasn't very happy with that effort. But the other 36 minutes, I thought we played, really hard, out-rebounded a really good team by 16. Still scored 20, even though we had 20 turnovers. Now we got to fix the turnovers. Obviously, it's a major problem. And 12 of those 20 were from 3 of our fifth-year seniors, which shouldn't be the case. But thought those guys kind of set the tone. I thought this was the hardest series has played.
I'll have more in a moment.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations. You could say we know a thing or two about tradition. We've been family, community, and financially strong since we began in 1906. Being a team player is part of our culture. That's why at CB&S Bank, we're proud to sponsor the University of Alabama Athletics and prouder to take the field or court with you. Visit cbsbank.com today. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Join us tonight for Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, presented by Alpha Insurance, live at 6 p.m. Central. You can listen to Hey Coach across our full radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as watch the video stream on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by CB&S Bank. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
This is Brent Musburger's BSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Chase Elliott wins the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. The Daytona 500 is coming up a week from Sunday with Kyle Busch, the favorite, at 11-1. Ryan Blaney, 12-1. Brad Keselowski, 13-1. Joey Logano and Danny Hamlin both at 14-1. College basketball today, UAB a 1-point favorite against North Texas at Bartow Arena, 137.5 the total. Auburn and Oklahoma meet at Neville Arena tomorrow. Super Bowl 59 this week, Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Chiefs a 1.5 favorite over the Eagles, the total 48.5. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect plenty of sunshine for this Monday. Temperatures continue to warm up heading into the next couple of days, and it looks like for this Monday, we'll be sitting in the low 70s by the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures falling into the low 50s for the overnight. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. I'm Joe Hockey. Is John Abraham. Steve Moulton is with us as well, taking your phone calls at 256-576-4977. Another person that could be taking phone calls is Myles Garrett's agent. As just a few moments ago, Ian Rappaport announced that Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns.
Damn it!
We can't have anything nice like
Come
a football team. All I'm saying before we get into what we're about to get into, all I'm saying, Tennessee, be smart.
Damn it!
Trade back, get the pick. Get Myles Garrett and still get the player that you want. That's all I'm saying.
How do you make an enemy of Myles Garrett? The guy loves dinosaurs. He loves everything simple. He's an anime watcher. He's just like me. I don't care for dinosaurs as much.
Pretty sure there's a former Steelers quarterback that's not a fan of it.
Oh, I bet they're probably friends now. That's the thing. Either way,
teammates.
Some other reports you should keep an eye on. Kyle Pitts and where he might be ending up going into next season is, it's trouble in paradise. I mean, I will say that there's teams that
and Atlanta and Cleveland.
Definitely not.
I mean, because that is not paradise.
But it's a bunch of places where they looked like they were on the up and up, and now you see, well, it might not be the case, but. Regardless of that, do like to remind you that this show is presented by the wonderful people at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. And if you're having any problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com.
Well, no, I mean, if there's a lot of trouble in Cleveland and Atlanta, but I think everybody in Tuscaloosa for at least the next little bit is a little bit happier.
I think that would be the case. I think anybody really in Alabama, we don't have an NFL team to worry about, so we can just focus on the amazing college sports we've got, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, and to help us talk a little bit more about what we got going on in Tuscaloosa. It's one Mr. Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 as Alabama goes on to another home win, 90-69. It seemed like everything just kind of fell into place. And Cody, can you talk a little bit more about how this matchup went in Alabama's favor?
Hang on. When's the last time Alabama hoops took precedent over major Alabama football?
Dude,
And
I know. I thought
that question.
I even tried to set him up for it, to be like, yeah, and for that we bring in Cody Goodwin, where we're going to talk about this new offensive coordinator. And instead he's like, so Bama hoops.
That's the thing. I'm not talking. Yeah, we're going to wait until Alabama football. This basketball team is ridiculous. So that's why I wanted to focus on a little bit more of what they've got going on.
No, I can appreciate that. The Alabama hoops, where are they now? 19-3 overall, 8-1 in SEC play. Pretty good, man. And coming off what I thought was maybe one of their more complete performances over Georgia last Saturday afternoon, right? 90-69 over the Bulldogs, who, maybe not. I guess maybe they've returned to the mean a little bit after a pretty good start in non-conference play. But, they've got some good players there. Asa Newell looks like he's going to be a star if he's not already. And, I thought Alabama did a really good job on him and just really, I think we've been kind of waiting for this Alabama team to just, really take care of business at home, just let the offense cook, let the defense do what they do. And I think we got that for the most part against Georgia on Saturday. Like they hung 90 points on a pretty good Georgia team. They held them well below their, normal offensive stats. I thought, maybe not the whole 100% complete performance that Nate Oates was looking for, but as close as they've been, at least at this point in the season. I think that's, there's something to be said about that as they, now that they're midway through the SEC schedule. I thought that was by and large a pretty overwhelming overall performance from the Tide.
Oh, it definitely was. The 3-point shooting, the free throws, just marginally better than what Georgia was throwing up for him. But one thing I wanted to focus on was Mark Sears and his performance, because it's starting to look like he's starting to get those kinks kind of worked out. It looked like a midseason slump that he was almost going through. Of course, got benched a few weeks ago. Can you talk a little bit about him and how he's been able to kind of right the wrongs of that slump he was going into?
He's just looked more focused, man. And I think he's really started to kind of get his teammates a little bit more involved. I feel like there's a lot of Alabama fans, and I don't know if you guys think the same way, but kind of view him a little bit more as a score first ball hog type guy. But I tell you what, the last couple of games, Mississippi State and Georgia, he has really kicked things off, mostly in the first half, doing a lot of better job of distributing the ball. So I think he's been close to a double-double and really, kind of sniffing triple-double territory just with his usual scoring prowess, but then also, 6-7 assists here the last couple of games. He's, also turned the ball over a little bit. You'd like to see him clean that up, but that seems to be a team-wide thing. They still turn the ball over 20 times against Georgia, which is not great. But the fact that you can turn the ball over 20 times and still win by 21 points kind of speaks to, one, offensive efficiency, and two, just the overall performance that they had against Georgia. But no, man, I think Mark has just looked a little bit more focused, a little bit more sharp the last couple games. I think that's what Nate has wanted out of him, right? Like more effort on the defensive end for one, but really just coming in and doing a lot of the little things, right? Like whether it is the assist thing, whether it is fighting for offensive boards. I think he had 3 or 4 offensive boards against Mississippi State, which is, that's pretty impressive for a point guard, and just the way that they design their defense. A lot of the O boards go to the big guys, right? So for Mark to, make a mark in that stat, thought that was pretty impressive. But he's looked pretty good. He's looked focused. He's looked sharp. And I think this is kind of the version of Mark Sears Nate has wanted to see for, really the last few weeks. And I know a lot was made of his benching in the second half against LSU, but hey, give Nate some credit. I think his coaching tactics work quite well.
I don't know why, but whenever I hear you talk about benching a star player, I always go back to Jalen Milroe. And I just think about, how he was able to succeed after that happened. Well, that didn't continue on into 2024. And of course, we got to see him in the Senior Bowl. I did want to touch on this for a second, and I guess it just jumped in a little bit earlier than expected. But tell me a little bit how your feelings on, of course, the former Alabama quarterback has kind of changed throughout his last season going into, of course, the Senior Bowl, because I know you had plenty of tabs on that with all the Alabama hype going around it.
Me personally, I don't know that my thoughts on Jalen have changed, right? Like he's an incredible athlete. I kind of thought that he would do okay, not great at the Senior Bowl, which was kind of the vibe that we got throughout the week, right? He struggled early. He did a little bit better late, but in the game itself, he struggled quite a bit, which I don't know. I kind of halfway expected. Maybe I expected him to play a little bit better. I think he finished 1 of 3 passing, took a couple of sacks. Like he just, when you're cycling through a number of different quarterbacks in an all-star type game like that, you're not going to get, the biggest or best sample size from any of these guys really. But, it's just kind of, it is what it is. Like he's going to star in the workouts that allow his athleticism to naturally shine. And when it comes to some of the pure football stuff, like he's going to have to show himself to be coachable if he's going to want to stay near the top, or at least in the top half of a lot of these draft boards. So, it wasn't a great week for him. I didn't think, at least I don't know that it helped his cause at all. And, I think a lot of, NFL types are starting to see a lot of the things that maybe we've seen over the last couple of years, which is, hey, he's a fantastic athlete. When things are clicking, he can be really good and effective. When he's efficient and takes care of the ball, he can do a lot of really good stuff. But, you need a little bit more than just that. You got to find a way to, maybe play outside of structure a little bit. You got to find a way to make plays. You got to marry your athleticism with some, with just some extra stuff if you want to hack it at the next level. And he's going to have to show the ability to be coached to do some of that if he's going to want to get there. So I don't know that my opinions about the guy have changed all that much, but definitely not the best week for him in Mobile. That's for sure.
Great stuff from Cody Goodwin from Bama 247. Joe, what do you got for him?
Well, I turn directly to the hiring of a brand new offensive coordinator and Ryan Grubb.
Not baseball? You don't want to go to baseball?
No, not yet. I know. I'm holding off on the baseball stuff with Cody on this, but you do have a brand new offensive coordinator. My question is I know that obviously Alabama fans, like the very moment that it was let go, it was like, fire up the beacons, everybody, the torches have been lit, everything is like, come on, like it's almost as if the moment that he was fired in Seattle, all Alabama fans just put a direct arrow on a map straight to Tuscaloosa. But what all went into this and him deciding to come back to Tuscaloosa and to work with DeBoer again?
Yeah, you got to look at their history, right? They have been together since, DeBoer was the head coach and even when DeBoer was still an assistant at Sioux Falls. And, so these guys have a bond and a friendship and just they understand each other as coaches. And for DeBoer, like this is a guy that he trusts, right? Like you look at some of those, they were together at Fresno State, right? Both as assistants. And then when DeBoer was the head coach, Grubb was his assistant head coach, his offensive coordinator. Same thing at Washington. The 2 years that they were there, they went 25-3. The Huskies were just electric offensively. So, this is a guy that DeBoer trusts. I imagine that there were pretty quick conversations or maybe even ongoing conversations throughout Grubb's one season in the NFL. He still did a lot of good things, I thought, in the NFL with Seattle. And you look at some of their offensive numbers, they passed the ball fairly well, finished top 10 in the NFL in passing. They struggled to run the ball, but I think a lot of that was just some of the issues on the offensive line. They went through injuries. Their projected starting center retired, I think, midway through the season. Like they were just going through a lot of stuff. So when it came to running the ball, not ideal. And I think that's just kind of what Seattle head coach Mike McDonald wanted a little bit more out of his offense, just a little bit more balance. But yeah, this is, I think Grubb was kind of surveying his options over the last month or so after he was let go from Seattle, just kind of, what can he do? What does he want to do? What's available for him? Because in addition to being a quarterback's coach and an offensive play caller, he's got a background as an offensive line coach. So there's some versatility there, but it sounded like kind of as the month drug along a little bit, just maybe not as many opportunities as he has hoped that would be there for him, just whether it was an analyst capacity, a position coach capacity, an offensive play caller capacity, just none of it, I think, really fully materialized. And I don't want to say Alabama was kind of a fallback, but it was kind of a backstop for him if he really didn't like anything else that may have surfaced for him. So we haven't heard from Grubb specifically yet. So there's probably, some gaps there that we still need to fill in terms of how he ended up back in Tuscaloosa. But hey, third time's the charm. Ryan Grubb's officially coming, right? Because Nick Saban tried to get him before the 2023 season. He was here for a month last year after DeBoer got hired, and then he left for Seattle. And now it sounds like he's going to be here for the 2025 season. Starting here soon. I imagine if he's not in Tuscaloosa already, he is en route. So this is, there's a lot, I think, that went into this. And I think Alabama fans should be pretty excited about what this could mean for Alabama's offense in 2025.
I'm also kind of just curious, Cody, as we're joined by Cody Goodwin of Bama 247, is the Nick Sheridan part of this. Like, I'm reading a book right now on LeBron James and that 2015-16 team and how, Tyronn Lue was up for the head coaching job. And then he becomes the assistant coach behind the guy that beat him. And now I'm thinking of this situation and I'm going, Nick Sheridan basically was the offensive coordinator for this team. And DeBoer had to sit him down and be like, you know what, everything you did was all right, but we kind of want you, we want somebody else, but we want you to stay. We still want you on the staff. Like, how is that going to work? I
imagine that there's, look, let's talk about the human element of this first. Like that's that's a bummer for Nick Sheridan, right? Like, I know Alabama's offense was not great last season. I mean, it was, statistically speaking, they finished 22nd nationally in scoring, 42nd nationally in total offense. They were in the top 25 nationally in yards per play. But I mean, we all saw that operation. It was largely inconsistent week to week. Part of that could have been because of the quarterback, right? Jalen Milroe, like, for better or for worse, fair or not, Nick Sheridan's fate was more or less tied to Jalen Milroe. And, I think as we kind of watch the Senior Bowl practices unfold and as we continue to watch the NFL draft process take place for Jalen, like that, maybe that wasn't as fair to Nick Sheridan to kind of base all of the 2024 offense strictly on him and his play calling, when maybe personnel, they kind of had a hand tied behind their back for whatever reason, right? So that's kind of a bummer. I think, one thing is for sure is that I think before Grubb ultimately came in, I would imagine that DeBoer and Sheridan probably had these conversations. They have been on the recruiting trail together for the last month. Like, they have, they were in Atlanta to watch Michael Penix play a game because, Penix was Washington's quarterback when Sheridan was there as the tight ends coach after he got let go by Indiana. So I'd like to think that DeBoer is, that there's good relationships there. It's a bummer that after one season, he kind of, I don't want to say he got demoted because Alabama hasn't officially announced anything yet. And, if you look at the official staff chart last year, it was, there were multiple co-offensive coordinators and co-defensive coordinators. So could it be something similar where it's just an entire huge brain trust of the guys that DeBoer trusts, right? Because you look at that Washington staff, it was Sheridan, it was Jamarcus Shepard, it was Ryan Grubb. Now all three of those guys are in the Alabama offensive room. So I imagine it's going to be a little bit more of a collaborative effort. But yeah, I mean, you're taking play calling duties from Nick Sheridan, who has had some experience, but maybe not as much success as a guy like Ryan Grubb. Again, part of that could probably be personnel based, but yeah, I think it says a lot about Nick Sheridan that he's willing to stay on staff after basically taking some element of a demotion, right? I think that, that says a lot about him, that he's kind of, I imagine when Alabama announces this, they'll have a quote from him about, trying to do whatever it takes to win and then thinking team first and this, that, and the next. But yeah, man, I mean, it's weird. It kind of stinks. And I'm not sure that we'll ever get a full answer from them as long as they're all on the same staff together. But, he's human. I imagine he's probably feeling some type of way about this and how everything has gone down. But you also got to remember, too, for Kalen DeBoer, like, this is year 2. He's got it. I'm sure he probably felt the pressure after going 9-4 last year. And, give him a little bit credit, too. It's, this is the SEC, man. You got to win. And it's not just the SEC, it's Alabama. And if you don't win immediately, the fans are going to get on you, right? I think everybody kind of saw that he had a few extra gray hairs at the end of this season compared to when he officially got introduced 13 months ago. So, I think he's kind of in that mode now where, let's get all the guys that I trust in the same room, especially the play caller on offense, which is his calling card. And, let's see if we can turn this thing around and improve offensively. And because that was kind of the unit that held Alabama back for the large part last season. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different angles you can look at this when it comes to, getting Grubb back on staff and kind of what it means and all that jazz. So,
well, it's the equivalent of being the president of the United States. You start to see a few more wrinkles, few more gray hairs, between when you start and when you finish. And then does this contract with Sheridan play into this, trying to figure out what his role would be? Because I don't think you want to pay a guy on a 3-year deal, like, $145 million contract and be like, oh yeah, this guy's now an analyst for the team. Like, does that go into this decision at all?
That's a good question. These are things that we still don't know yet, just because we haven't really talked to enough people inside the building. But yeah, I mean, Nick Sheridan's I think he's going to make $1.45 million next year as the OC. I don't know if that means co-OC now. I know that he was the play caller and, both him and Shepard were kind of co-OCs, but this is also DeBoer's offense, right? Like, I'm pretty sure he's got veto power. So, to get Grubb back in the room, I think it's more like, can we reassemble the brain trust that helped Washington become the superstar offense that it was the couple of years they were there, that helped Fresno State become the really good offense that it was when all those guys were there. So I don't think Sheridan was part of that staff, but, hey, I think, it's one of those things where it's kind of, let's get the guys in the room and then we'll kind of figure everything else out. But I imagine that those conversations were had, and I imagine we'll get clarity soon if, because spring football is coming up. We're going to get to talk to these guys. So hopefully they reveal a little bit.
Yeah. Conversations will continue around this Alabama football team. But again, Cody, the main thing is that Alabama basketball team that we've talked so much about, and we will continue to talk about them all the way up until late March. But Cody, always wonderful to get you on, man. Let the people know where they can find you over on socials and online.
Yeah, man, I'm on socials, just at Cody Goodwin on Twitter or X or whatever the heck we're calling it nowadays. But then you can find all my work at Bama 247, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. So lots to talk about when it comes to the Alabama Crimson Tide, whether it's on the gridiron or on the hardwood these days. So come along and enjoy the ride with it.
Great stuff from you, Cody. As always, appreciate you very much. We got to take it to break. When we get back, Joe's camera is going to be fixed over on WZBN
My camera just
TV.
turned his back on me.
He's upset at you right now.
He is
He's
mad at
very
me for
upset.
asking about the contract.
I think it's camera 2 with that. Just press on the preset.
Wait. No. I see what's wrong. His name is Myles Garrett, and I'm the Browns.
Okay. All right. Taking a break off of that. We'll be right back. You're on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZBN TV.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Long before winter weather approaches, the Alabama Department of Transportation prepares to maintain interstate and state roads that could be affected by snow and ice.
Yeah, we start training and doing maintenance on snow and ice equipment months in advance to make sure everything is ready for when the freezing weather comes. We will have crews working around the clock that are prepared to plow snow and remove trees that have fallen into the roadway.
Our mission is to keep roadways safe and open. We try to achieve this by focusing on interstate routes first and then secondary roadways by traffic volume.
If the weather allows, we'll start pre-treating the roadways during the day to prepare for the temperature drop at night.
AlDOT wants to keep the public informed during these winter weather events. The best way to learn about state road conditions is the Algo app and through local media. Brought to you by AlDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
To desperation.
Gotta love Sabrina.
I'm not kidding. I was sitting here just going, oh, okay, cool. This is a nice commercial. Like, I wonder who this is for.
Maybe some like old-fashioned 1970s dishwasher.
Sounds like WandaVision when they were back in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, this
We're
thing
doing
is,
the 60s episode.
she was going for like a flip flapper style last night at the Grammys. I gotta say, she looked good doing it.
Wait, is that Sabrina?
That's Sabrina. the
Wait, that's
teenage
her?
witch. Yeah, that was her.
Not like my Sabrina, like she's mine. Like when I grew up, like the Sabrina that is now an Alabama Crimson Tide football fan and all of that. Not like that, like Melissa Joan Hart's
I
Sabrina,
was
right?
actually almost getting mixed up with Selena.
No,
of course.
no, not Selena. She
Okay.
gone. And so no, but so so I had no clue who that was.
Yeah,
no idea.
Yeah, you were watching the Grammys, right?
No, I wasn't watching the
Then
Grammys.
why are you saying, "Oh, that was Sabrina"?
Yeah, because she has blown up my timeline. And like there was a period of
Exactly.
time like 2 years ago where every girl in America was like,
Well, they're still like that.
I know.
They're still like that.
But then this past summer, it was. I'm going. I don't know who this is.
She puts on a really good performance for both males and females.
Well,
but
I know.
will say,
I've seen the pictures and I've seen what she wears, but yeah,
I don't know what.
no.
You can talk to us.
I don't
Steve.
know what's going on with your camera in there, by the way.
Wait, is my camera still doing some funny things?
So we see Joe Hunk.
Is it against the Hawk? You got something against the Hawk there, Miles Garrett camera? Yeah, that's what I'm calling you from now on. I'm calling you Miles Garrett, the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah. Look, my problem is they're trying to fix the camera. It's the
See,
ADHD.
This is
It's part
why
of the-
I need to do this more often.
No.
Because of this side of WZZN TV. We want you to subscribe, obviously.
Look, if Steve, if this studio was, if days were years in this studio would still be pooping its pants. Okay. Like we're all learning it right now. Okay.
Well,
it's
for me, it'd be a teenager. Okay. All right. I've been in this a little too long.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. No, you've been here just as long. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, no, the camera over here continuing to get frustrated with me.
We should give him names.
WZ, I did. Miles Garrett. It's turned its back on me.
So he's Miles. That one right there is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure out a name for
Yeah,
him.
that's Patrick Mahomes.
No, he's
because he's always
Come
on point.
He hasn't been
He's
that
always
good.
on point. And he always gets some help with people behind the
You're
scenes.
just a fanboy. That's the thing. You're just a huge fanboy of the Mahomes.
No,
All right?
look, and yes, the Miles Garrett news kind of got me excited. And I put it out on social media just a few seconds ago, by the way. First off, before we get into that part, I want to know what Alabama fans are thinking about the Ryan Grubb hire. Okay, because this is the guy that you have wanted for 360 some odd days now. Like this is the guy.
Well, he was almost the one that got away.
Well, he got away, and then you went on one date with each other, and then he found a better guy, and then it's like, oh man, I thought this was it for us. I thought this was our moment.
It wasn't that it was a better guy, Joe. It was a rich guy. All right, the rich guy took us away. He took him back out west.
Do you really think
to
there's more
Seattle.
rich guys in the NFL than there is in Alabama?
Well, no, I think that they were willing to give him more money.
So, but you get that, and then so next thing you know, it's like, oh, I thought we had something there. I thought we was clicking.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Seattle, has an okay season. And again, he still had Geno Smith as a quarterback. He didn't have a running back that got over 600 yards rushing.
That was tough.
Which you had injuries. Both of them had injuries. It was bad offensive line play, which is another reason for the Geno Smith stuff. Okay. But I do want to know if Alabama fans, now that you got your guy, see, Rick is happy.
Thank you. Third one really.
We
made it
appreciate Rick for
solidified.
hopping in. You can get on WZZN TV, and you can get your comments in there as well. The chat is wide open as we're going along. So no, yeah, I want to know, like, how excited are Bama fans now that you got your OC? Because if this was, and a lot of times if you're talking about an OC in the NFL, it's like, oh no, this is the mind. Like the Raiders with Chip Kelly, you're going, okay, the guy can do some work.
Now we just need more star players. Oh no, we know what? I forgot.
You got
We don't-
Devontae. Oh.
No, he's gone. Max Crosby. No. Max Crosby. Might want to leave.
He may be Miles Garrett
But,
2.0.
I mean, this is a team that does have the 6th pick in the draft. We're talking about the Raiders here.
He does.
As well as a guy like Brock Bowers, who is an absolute
Now,
stud.
Brock Bowers. We talked. Look, by the way, why haven't we talked more about Brock Bowers, an offensive MVP for a rookie MVP?
Oh, because he's a white wide receiver.
No, he's not a
Slash
white
tight
wide
end.
receiver. He's a white tight end.
Oh, he's a nice flex. That's the thing. He's not a tight end. He's not your typical tight end. In the NFL, this man is straight up a wide receiver.
Kyle Pitts couldn't do it.
He is Lad McConkey, pretty much.
I thought to myself as we're getting close to the NFL awards, those are going to be coming up Saturday night or Friday night. I
On the
believe. No,
4th? It's
yeah.
tomorrow.
No, it's Thursday.
I thought it was the 4th.
No, may the
I
force
guess
be
that
with
was
you.
all.
No.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, it's not.
No. No, it's not going to be. It's always the last night before. So it's Thursday into Friday.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be Thursday into Friday. So we'll find out who the MVP is and who the rookie offensive player of the year and all that is.
Well,
But
he's definitely being named as a top 5
Yeah,
candidate, but he's not going to win it because
No.
quarterbacks win this stuff. That's
But
just what it is.
if this was the NFL, teams would be literally nonstop with fans wanting to talk about the Nick Grubb and not Nick Grubb, but Ryan Grubb. I was thinking Nick Chubb, Ryan Grubb, all those guys. I'm just literally just digging a knife into your soul right now because the Myles Garrett thing.
Well, also because Nick Chubb is definitely past his prime now that he's destroyed his leg and continues on to get injured. But no, it's fine. All I'm thinking about right now is you trying to gauge the opinions on Grubb.
I do, because
it makes me think how nice it would be to have a chalkboard behind us that we can just write things up on. And then we can have a little gauge monitor with people who say they like Grubb as a coach. They want him to be the guy. They think he's going to be amazing. We keep a tally. Then on top of that, we can write anything else we want on this wall.
So
I think that's a good
So
idea.
honestly, how different do you think the system's going to be this year?
I think that it's more
Because the head
not
guy
so
is still
much
down there. Am I right?
Well, and I think what this actually has to do with is I think this is more of like the mental side and knowing when to run certain plays and when not to. Like, I think that's what it has to do
I
a
would
lot
want to
more
judge
with.
the willingness of
Yeah.
maybe a previous quarterback to.
Well,
That's the thing.
See,
we don't get
this
the
is-
same.
This is
quarterback,
why I
is it?
say the Jalen Milroe. And if you missed in the first hour, I say, I think that if Milroe would have came back to Alabama, that Grubb doesn't come to Alabama. I genuinely think that. Because I think that, and I'm not saying what happened in that 1 month span that he was the offensive coordinator for Alabama. If he met with players and went, "Oh no, we good. No, I'm out. No, I'm good. I'll go to Seattle.
But
I'll go back to Washington."
It also
Miss."
adds you another question because there's probably more people who wanted Ryan Grubb than more people who wanted Jalen Milroe to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we could definitely run a little tally on the board too.
But no, and that's where that's the part with Grubb on this is where I'm saying, like, I think that a lot of this, it isn't the fact that the plays are going to be different. I think that it is going to be the time in which you run certain plays, and depending on who's going to be under center, the ability for that quarterback to run the play that you want and do it and make the decision that you're wanting and make the read that you're wanting. Because remember, this is what we talked about last season, is the first read that you make when you're at quarterback doesn't happen when you snap the ball. It happens when you break the huddle. That's when you make the first read and you start to look, okay, then if you put a man in motion, that determines if if it's a man or if it's a zone. And then once you snap the ball, then you get confirmation of the read and you either automatically go to 2 or 3 or you stick with your number 1. So those are the decisions in that. And we know that Jalen Milroe struggled with those things. So whoever the quarterback is in 2025,
Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, or possibly Keelan Russell, who will be a freshman.
yes, like no matter who it is, then you want to see their ability to make the right read. So what I look at more like with Ryan Grubb is I see it more as an idea about if it's 3rd and 5 with Milroe, we were calling this play maybe because of his comfort level with this, maybe because this play in practice he runs well. As in now in 3rd and 5, we're going to go with this play because we know that this quarterback is going to have the ability to either A, read the defense the way that he should, or B, will stay in the pocket long enough, keep his head up, and be able to make the decision that we wanted to make.
Well, as soon as you bring that up, I think about exactly what Jalen Milroe would do or what play would be called for Jalen Milroe.
Quarterback keeper.
That would be the QB run, just right up the middle. And obviously, he takes 2 steps back. Oh, he goes forward.
Yeah.
And he tries to give a little bit of misdirection.
That's what you're going to get now when we're standing up because now we're starting to add movement.
Exactly. But whenever it's 3rd and 5 and you've got a Ty Simpson or you maybe have an Austin Mack, that's whenever I might see a short pass, maybe a 5-yard slant, or we might see the running back actually go out for a possible dump off pass.
Well, and that's always going to be your safety read.
But at the same time, these are 2 guys, maybe less of Ty, but more of Keelan Russell, more of Austin Mack. These guys are also able to make that second step, which is the run. And that's something that I think we didn't see enough of with Jalen Milroe the choice
or
the right choice being made.
And I also think that with Milroe, and I think this does play into the quarterback side of this with Ryan Grubb more than what his play calling ability is in this, is I also think like putting men in motion, being able to know how to change plays and do all that, the comfort level that the coaches have with making and letting you change plays. We don't know if some of that is, because in the NFL, you have that ability a lot more, but it takes a lot longer for an offensive coordinator and a head coach to be okay with you changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Like it takes a while for them to be okay with them saying, you know what you see, I'm going to let you change. So that's the reason why it said, okay, let's all look over. All right, we got it. Let's go now. Let's do it. Like, that's the reason you see that so often. And so how comfortable is Ryan Grubb going to be with the next quarterback so that he can make the decision and change it on the fly and the play still be successful?
I'm going to be honest. I think he's in the perfect position to create that next quarterback, that next great quarterback for the Crimson Tide, because he's not just working with a quarterback that was already started, a quarterback that's already solidified in his own ways, a guy like Jalen Milroe who had multiple offensive coordinators. I think it's a great position for Grubb because he's got to deal with a guy like Ty Simpson, who, yes, has played some football, but hasn't really found who he is as a quarterback.
No, because he was playing in a small school in South Tennessee.
Same could be said for an Austin Mack. Same could be said for a Keelan Russell, who's able to learn a lot. I think there's going to be a lot more passing in this offense. I think 3,000 yards is a minimum. And I think on top of that, we are going to see a little bit of what we used to see with Alabama in those short dump-off passes. If it's not down the field, it's going to be to your running back.
Is it bad that when you said 3,000 yards should be a minimum, that the first thing I thought to myself is that should be easy?
That was Jalen Milroe's.
No, it was his max.
Again,
last year it was 28.44. Like, that's what he passed it. Like, I'm sitting here and you said 3,000 minimum, and I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, that is it.
Again, you want to see some running. You want to see the running back.
Like, I want to look up and see how many quarterbacks in college in the SEC had 3,000 passing yards. There were 6 that had 3,000 plus, and Milroe was at 7 with the 28.44. Like, and
Alabama should be in that list.
But see, here's the other part: is 28.44. He only played in 13 games. Thorns up there, God, please.
He had some great wide receivers.
No, I got to refresh this to make sure that I got this right. Okay. All right. So there were 5 quarterbacks that had over 3,000 yards passing. Peyton Thorne and Jalen Milroe are 7 and 6, with Milroe being at 6. But I sit and think about 30,000 passes, or 3,000 passing yards with what Milroe did last year. That's literally 2 more passes. Like, that's all it took. 2 more reads in which you make the right decision over tucking it and running it, and you have 3,000 yards.
Well, it also helps when you have a guy that was 17 years old in the form of Ryan Williams.
And one of those was Carson Beck, who threw for over almost 3,500 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I go, is like 3,000. That actually should be a gimme. Like, that should just, like you said, the baseline in this, I'm thinking 3,500.
Okay.
And the only reason I say it is because I think that with the way modern offenses are changing in this, in the way that you could be using your running backs, I know that we talk about the lack of rushing with Seattle. The lack of rushing was because the lack of ability to get through the line rushing wise. It wasn't because those yards rushing wise were transitioning into receiving yards. Like, it wasn't one of those types of deals. Like, when you look at a wide receiver, or I should say a running back, like we're talking about what we're going to see this weekend, you're going to see these running backs is like, oh, he only had 85 yards rushing. Yes, but he also had 75 yards receiving. And so now it means he's got like 160 yards, and you're thinking, oh, okay, you know what? That's not really that bad. That's what we're looking at in 2024. So yes, the rushing yards may not be there, but the total yards with your running backs is what I'm looking at now. And that is the way that the NFL offenses are going. And with Grubb, even spending that small, minute 17 games in the NFL, he understands that. And that's going to be something that you can go to your running back and say, hey, look, I know that you want to run the ball. What I want is to show your versatility. I want to show that you're not just a between the tackles guy, that if I put you out and you're my safety read, I'm going to be able to dump it off to you and you can get 5 to 10 yards or more on it. That's what I am wanting to teach you as we're going along and improving that. That's how we're going to get you to the next level in the NFL. Yes, he has 2 quarterbacks right now that are in the NFL. One, never going to be a true starter. The other one, and Michael Penix Jr., has a massive opportunity to change it around But with Grubb on this, it comes down to who's he going to be teaching? What is he going to be teaching? The offense, I don't think itself is going to change. I think what's going to change is the comfort level that the offensive coordinator has with the quarterback and the ability to call certain plays. Whereas with Milroe, and I'm using Milroe as a scapegoat on all of this, is that Milroe, the sheet of paper may have been more like a Post-it note. Like it may have only been this long. It may have been like one of those little white cards that you're having to teach with your kids right now. It's like, all right, spell this one right.
And 17 of them had the quarterback run involved.
Yeah, it was okay. If this one doesn't have QB run. Okay, if this one is QB run. Okay. Ooh, does it turn to page 35? QB run. Oh, don't want to go there. What about page 42? QB run. Okay, seeing a trend. So now it's instead of that, you actually have a sheet of paper and it's a little bit longer. And then you get the legal paper. And next thing you know, you've got 15 or 20 plays that you feel comfortable with that you know that you can make the adjustments on. I think that with Grubb and his ability to make the right decisions and calling the plays, that's what's going to change.
No doubt.
So, guys, I being that we're just a few weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting, can I throw you a curveball?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do it. Just I don't care.
Honestly, Brett, so been in this state for a couple of decades, and usually when you talk Bama football, phones light up.
You're right.
Not happening. And so I am curious about one thing and would like to get your opinion on it. Who's on a bigger hot seat this year? Is it Hugh Freeze or is it Kalen DeBoer?
Oh, geez. I mean, I can answer that now, but I mean, the question could be thrown out.
Is this table made of Nerf?
No, it's not. But I learned that table is also not made of Nerf because I was banging it this morning because I was just frustrated.
Well, there's one on there that was wibbly wobbly, and I leaned on it one time and almost tipped
I already know that. Okay, so that is a good question from you, Steve. And
that's why you try to get a Ryan Grubb. I'm not saying this. Like I go back to that's why you had to make this decision.
I don't think that Kalen DeBoer is anywhere close to the hot seat. I will say that. But I will say for a guy like I agree. I say that because I think you see what Alabama did in their first year. They're still trying to figure it out. Now he's going on to his second quarterback. Whereas you got a guy like Hugh Freeze who chose to have the same quarterback he was not able to find an offense with. If we saw the same thing with Kalen DeBoer choosing to have Jalen Milroe back on this roster, and not even trying to look for something, that's a different story. This is an Alabama team that now has Keelan Russell, and I know Auburn has their own secret weapon in quarterback, but we now have to see it actually play out. This year is going to decide whether or not he's on the hot seat, whereas Hugh Freeze could possibly get fired this upcoming season.
You don't think Kalen DeBoer is on a hot seat?
I don't think he's on the hot seat. I don't think he's on the hot seat. So I'll give it year 3. That's whenever I'll see him on a hot seat.
Okay, now and
that's if it all goes wrong.
That's why I think that this deal being made and Grubb coming in, this was something that Alabama fans saw as hey, look, this is the only move to make. Like it was, I go back to looking at what Jay Jacobs did when he brought in Bruce Pearl. Like it wasn't a, hey, I'm glad you made that decision. That was really good. It was like, look, man, your tail is on right now. It is on fire because we are literally ready to send you into the sun. If you don't make a good decision with this next hire, regardless as to whatever sport it is, you are gone. And that's what happened. And so Jay Jacobs had to go with Bruce Pearl, even with the show cause. He was like, I don't care. We get through the show cause. I understand that this first season, if it is going to be one, is a punt, which even it really wasn't a punt. But if it's a punt, then that's fine. Just get him in, get the crowd and the fan base excited. Let's go. With Kalen DeBoer, I think enough Bama fans are annoyed, and I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong on this, obviously 256-5764-977. Correct me on this. But I think that with Kalen DeBoer, there are enough Bama fans that were frustrated, not just with the offense, with the way the players were acting on the sidelines and under Nick Saban, this wouldn't be happening.
I can agree with the discipline.
The discipline of it, the way that they were acting on the field, all this other stuff that wasn't happening with Nick Saban. Now, you then turn around and go, okay, well then who would you get? Like there's that whole who would you get type of deal. I mean, if you're looking at coaches in college football right now with the best winning percentage and you want to go out and try to get a guy, the only other guy that you could possibly think of bringing into Tuscaloosa.
Don't say it.
No, who were you thinking?
Who you're about to say?
No. I want to know who are you thinking? No, I'm not thinking Dabo.
Okay, go.
No, I'm not thinking Dabo.
You go. I'm not thinking him.
No, I'm just saying based on winning percentage of head coaches right now, the one that has coached more than one football game, because Brian Smith of Ohio has coached one football game, so I'm not counting that one. All right. You have Ryan Day, who's won the most. He's won 87.5% of his games.
I don't think they're sending him away anytime soon.
But the other one is Dan Lanning.
Okay.
Now, Dan Lanning, number one team in the country, won the Big Ten. But then the question is, do we go out west for another head coach?
Well, he already turned down the job in the first place. So what makes him think that it's going to change?
Heck, so did Grubb, basically. But then after him, it's obviously Kirby Smart, which is not going to come back to Alabama because he has his. Then you start getting into Signetti, and then you start looking at you're not going to go to Boise State or East Carolina. Then there's the Dabo Swinney as far as winning percentage is concerned. So I get where you're like, there's no way he could be on the hot seat because there's nobody else that could quote unquote come in unless you're wanting to bring somebody in from the NFL. But the other side of this is with the way that Alabama is and the way that this team quote unquote underperformed in 2024, I could definitely see if there's no growth, because technically with Jalen Milroe, there was regression more than progression. You could absolutely halfway through this being like, all right, this guy's not the answer. I don't care that we had like a top 5 recruiting class. I don't care that we have all these transfer. I don't care any of that. We are not progressing the way that I want us to progress.
I'm going to stand on it and I'll say, give it till year 3. That's whenever he'll either be on the hot seat or he'll be
Fran
solidified.
Brown is 10-3 at Syracuse.
There you go. Bring Fran Brown in. I like what he's doing at Syracuse, but then Syracuse will suck again, and I don't want that as
Lincoln
well.
Riley at USC.
Let's take it to break. When we get back, bring in Fran Shoney. Whenever we come back, we'll finish out.
We just need that one guy that goes to the strip club.
This edition of the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Covering Alabama, Auburn, and the Southeastern Conference is a year-round job.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't worry, we've got you covered on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Final segment, best segment. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. Wrapping up our Monday Tom Abraham show coming up at noon. Then Paul. And then you have the drive out at Woody Anderson Ford.
Ooh.
This evening.
I might have to head on over there and snag myself a new vehicle. The Mustang is really falling apart.
Yeah, hey, while you guys are out there, all I'm asking, okay, and whatever I need to do other than pay a price on this, I know that they have 2 Ford F-150 Lightnings. Just whatever I need to do for this vehicle, okay?
He almost talks about it as
Bobby,
much as
can
the
I
Japanese.
go for a test drive for about 10 years?
See, I'm telling you, just whatever I need to do for this Ford F-150 Lightning, man. Because look, I have got a third kid that is coming in about 2 months, 2.5 months, because my wife is now 6 months pregnant. These kids are not going to all fit inside the Volt. Okay.
No, they will not.
They're not.
I mean, it is a 5-seater though.
It is, but it's not. No, they all can't fit inside the Volt, and I don't think my little man is old enough to sit in the front seat yet. So the F-150 Lightning, I know they have 2 of them on the lot. I saw the 2024 models. I also saw how expensive they are. So all I'm saying, I don't
Come
care.
on, Bobby, test drive 10 years.
We can wrap it in like Woody Anderson Ford stuff. I mean, look, man, I'm all for whatever I need to do.
Like
I'll do endorsements. I don't care. I'll talk about it for 4 years if I need to pay that thing off like this. I don't care. Just saying. Mainly because I'm in a car. And so, I'm begging for that. Alabama fans have been begging for a better offensive coordinator. That's what they got. 1,000%. This is a Hail Mary, and I hope to not be doing a QB run.
Well, with me not saying anything during that little thing, it definitely sounded desperate. It's like, please,
I'm telling
put
you,
a face on the thing.
I'm telling you, whatever you need to let's put Bobby White's face right on the hood, just like that thing is sitting there, like it is a NASCAR.
We'll just fill the back with flyers, and they'll fly out, and everybody will see your name everywhere.
Look, I'll illegally park in front of the VBC before Havoc games so that everybody can watch it. I'll do whatever and look at that thing as they walk up into the thing. And I mean, heck, 6,300 come there every single night. So
that's actually what we needed when we went from UAH to the VBC.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely did. We need lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or we wrap the Shagwagon with the 97
I'm gonna go
logo.
You know, he used that verbiage on Shagwagon a lot, and I never really kind of
It didn't know what the Shagwagon even was.
Felt what he meant by that until I actually got into the vehicle and rode with him from the old studio to the new.
He was in the front. Don't worry, everybody. Take it easy.
I feel like I need a shower. I just felt like I needed a shower.
It's not literal. It's there's a bed in the back.
There is a bed in the back.
And you know what?
There is a bed in the back.
It helped us move our studio.
It helped us move a lot
that
of stuff.
pulled me out of a ditch.
It pulled him out of the ditch.
Where's this thing's
Literally,
W2 at?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, it did a lot of work over the last 7 days.
Golly.
And that what's fun is we were talking about Ryan Grubb and Moulton asked a really good question about which head coach, either DeBoer or Hugh Freeze, is on a bigger hot seat. And I was like, well, DeBoer making this move and actually getting his guy, to me, is a sign of him saying, I am ready to make a change quickly. I understand that what we did last year is unacceptable, and I am ready to do this. Now, let's put into comparison of this. DeBoer goes, you know what? I want to bring in this OC that we thought we had last year, who basically, he may even still have some of his Alabama stuff, like deep in the closet, like in one of those little storeway bags somewhere. Like he probably even has some of that stuff. Okay, like we did that. And then you look down at Auburn, and Hugh Freeze like, well, we got Arnold Jackson. Is that his name?
Jackson.
Is that his name?
Oh, it's Jackson.
He fits into our system the way that we like, because he's also a loser.
You know, Peyton Thorne, he's kind of like him, and Peyton Thorne really just resounded the Auburn culture.
You know, I really just enjoyed what Peyton Thorne did for me as a quarterback. You know, I enjoyed that, and you know, I just think that's what we need more of, because as I look around my wide receiver room and I see potential first round draft picks left and right, I think what I need to get these guys is another mediocre quarterback.
You know what? Carson Beck might be on the transfer portal, but did he beat Alabama?
No,
I don't think so.
Do you know that I've beat Alabama 3 times? Do you know that? Just want to know who's beat Alabama more, Joe Hunk or Hugh Freeze. I just need, before you question anything, what's happened? Jackson Arnold, Heisman winner.
Goodbye, Myles
2025.
Garrett. I love you, man.
What a moron.
I love the fact that the new OC at Florida State is playing Alabama right out of the gate.
just really just screw them up.
Hey, he beat Alabama more than Hugh Freeze did.
Oh,
How about that?
Either way, we got a 22-hour break. We'll be back from Good Company Cafe tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Be there.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans. Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a third consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on